I'm Coach Nikki G. Welcome to my podcast of Peace, Light, and Love Confessions. It's my belief that true healing begins when truths are revealed. So I created this safe space for individuals like yourself to come and share your truths and the raw and unfiltered parts of your journey. You also have the freedom to be unapologetically you. My primary purpose of this podcast is to help those that is in the midst of their healing journey, and also to change behavioral patterns that has had many of us bound to toxic relationships and also toxic behaviors that has severely damaged, our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When do we say enough is enough? We have suffered in silence way too long, and we are now watching these toxic behaviors manifest in our children and grandchildren. It's time for a change. So if you're listening to me right now, you are a part of that change. Change starts with you. Now, right now, there's someone listening to me that is holding on to pain, bitterness, and anger as someone that has possibly hurt you mentally, emotionally, and maybe spiritually and physically. But because you're holding on to all of those emotions, you are letting those emotions control every area of your life. At some point, in order to heal, you have to learn to forgive. You will be amazed at how unforgiveness can take a toll over your whole life. I read a quote this morning, and it read, "An unforgiving spirit will spread in your soul like cancer." And trust me, it will if you hold on to all that hurt and anger. Now, today I have a guest. She is the author of Healed. She's the author of Healed Inside and Out, My Journey to Wholeness. She spent 17 years working in corporate America, and she is also a former IT instructor, a personal trainer, and now the founder of the organization Originally You. But her most important title is a warrior in the battlefield of God. Kay, welcome to Confessions.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm so excited to be here. I'm telling you, I couldn't wait to get here.
I'm so glad you could make it, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear her story. Yeah. And if you haven't got this book, I suggest, if you're on the journey of learning how to forgive, get this book. It's on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm. It's on Amazon, and they're also, I'll give instructions how they can get it from me as well, the book. Yeah.
All right.
A signed copy.
Ooh, look at that.
With some, with a little bit of scripture.
I'm jealous.
A little bit of scripture in there.
Mine ain't signed. I'm jealous now. Look, y'all getting a signed copy. All right. So, I always like to start from the beginning. So, I read the book, you guys, and I'm telling you, it's a must read for those on a healing journey. So, I'm going to let you start.
Well, I'll start with, I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, and that's what started the journey. So if you read the book, that's where the book starts. Mm-hmm. It starts from where just minding my own business, wearing my hair long, decided to cut it short one day. So my mom noticed I had a lump on the back of my neck, and she just kept bothering me about getting it checked out. And so I said, okay. So I finally went to go get it checked out. I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he told me that we would have to do a biopsy. So I didn't think nothing of that. I'm always optimistic. What could be wrong? I wasn't feeling bad or anything. So my mom took me it was just a day surgery. So I went, got it checked out, waited for the results to come back, went back to the doctor to get the results. And he told me that it was cancerous, the lump. So to be honest, I don't remember anything he said after that.
That's normal because you're in shock.
Yeah, I was totally in shock. And so he just gave me some paperwork and was telling me of 2 or 3 places I can go to, for treatment. And I just took the paper and said, okay, thank you. And on my ride home, I could feel the burn of the tears coming down because I just felt like, why? Where'd it come from? Because nobody in my family had cancer like that before, or as far as I knew. So it was just bothering me why. And if you fast forward to some places in the book, God had already started working on me then, because there's a place you can get where you think, I'm good, I haven't done anything wrong, so I shouldn't be sick. But that's not true. Yeah. Because there's no good person under the sun. Everybody sins, okay? So I was in my mind already at a level of pride. And I'll talk about that later, but I was already at a level of pride that was just unacceptable. So I went home, didn't tell anybody, didn't tell my husband at the time, didn't tell my mom. For about 2 weeks, I went to my closet every morning and I just prayed. For the first probably the whole week and a half, I just probably went and cried and just didn't really pray too much, but just silence. But that last morning, I remember I had such I was wore out, and I just worshiped that morning. So after I was done, worshiping, and I had some scriptures that I was reading, and I walked because my closet was in the bathroom. I walked out of my closet into the bathroom, and I heard this, like me and you are talking, you hate your husband. And when I stopped in my tracks, I said, where did that come from? And to be honest, I just burst out crying because I knew it was God and I knew that was true. But I had never, ever told anybody that I felt that way. Not even my ex-husband. He never even knew that I hated him. And hate is such a strong word. When we were little, you couldn't say hate.
No, you better not.
If you said hate, you was getting a whooping.
I'm still scared to say it now.
Me too. I have never said, I don't even say I hate food, because hate is so strong. And I think that's why God used the word hate, letting me know that was so strong. It was almost like a festering that he was trying to show me was in my heart. And I sat down on the floor and I said, yes, I do. And then it was just so freeing to be able to say that. And mind you, it wasn't like I was, even if you asked my ex-husband, he would have never known, because I wasn't mean. I wasn't hateful. I wasn't, just doing bad things, but I was bitter on the inside. I was angry. The root of that was so much anger and contempt and pride. Like, how could you do this to me? And from the things that were done. And so I just basically said, God, if you help me, I forget. He told me I have to forgive. And I said, Lord, if you help me, I will. I didn't go back and forth about what does forgiveness got to do with me, praying to you about, healing me or anything like that. I knew, first of all, I knew it was God talking to me. Second of all, I knew I was in error. I knew I was wrong. And so I just asked him for help. And if I tell you, I left out of that bathroom the most free woman ever. I felt cancer didn't make a difference to me at all.
So let's back up. If you watched my last podcast, we talked about being in a dark season. And my guest said that sometimes we can be in a dark season and don't even know it.
Yeah.
And this is a prime example of being in a dark season.
Right. Yeah.
And didn't even know it.
Yeah. Never sharing it with anybody, just holding it in.
Just going on.
Just going day to day. And meanwhile, stress is killing you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, bitterness is killing you. Because it really does kill you, because what it was doing, after researching and everything, the stress and the anxiousness and the bitterness in your heart. See, our body wasn't designed to be like this, all pent up with anger and stress. And so what was going, your immune system is shot. You can't fight off anything. You have nothing fighting off any kind of disease at that point. And so anything you pass by, that's a wide open door for the devil to let somebody pass by you with a cold and you get pneumonia. And like these days, people are dying of pneumonia. Okay, so it was just an open door.
So in your book, you wrote, God did not put this sickness on me. Stress did.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, we don't think about it like
Yeah.
that.
Now, God never puts any kind of sickness on us. What happens is he allows the enemy to have his way. When you are in sin, I look at sin as missing the mark. When you miss the mark, you're over here and you get it straight and you get back in order. But if you stay over here, you outside of the umbrella of God's protection, and the devil can have his way. And so mine's just happened to be cancer. Some people is other things, but God doesn't put that on me. It was actually just the stress, which caused my immune system to be low, which caused maybe some genetics to set in, to cause some cancer that's ran in way second and third generation to kind of get to me first. But God allowed it. That's where I had to end up at, because God allowed it. Where was my protection? My protection is under the umbrella of God, where he said he would protect us. He would keep us. So I always like people to know, but the Bible also says that the curse causeless does not come. So cancer, if you any kind of sickness in the Bible is looked at as a curse. So we have to look at the main thing I did when I went to God. I said, okay, after he told me that about the unforgiveness, I wanted to know the root, because one thing for sure, I was never going to travel that journey again, because the type of cancer I had always come back. That's what they told me. They said every 3 to 5 years. First of all, it was so rare for me to have that type of cancer at 40. I was like 1 in 99 to have that type of cancer, and so aggressive. It was already a stage 4. So it traveled, it was so fast. And because, I go to the doctor often and nothing was ever off of the charts for my doctor. So I had to know what was the root cause of it, because the curse causeless does not come. And so as I began to study about unforgiveness, God was telling me unforgiveness puts your body in risk of disease, and it puts you at risk of being outside of his will, which puts you over here with the enemy. You're in the enemy's camp. When you don't forgive and you don't walk in love, you are in the enemy's camp. You are no longer under the umbrella of God.
And see, I know you guys have heard the phrase of stress will kill you quicker than anything. Mm-hmm. And that is true. Just as Kay has just told you, when you continue to live with stress, you continue to holding on to all this baggage that you're holding on to, these emotions that you don't know how to control. So it begins to control you, and then it takes over your whole body, literally. Because I was in the same boat too.
Yeah.
And once you're diagnosed with something like cancer, I think it's normal for you to question, like, where did it come from? Yeah. And we don't think about all the stress and everything we done put our bodies under. Mm-hmm. First thing we think about is, maybe it's in our families. But it all in lies with how are you treating yourself? Right. How's your spiritual journey?
Spiritual journey. Because the Bible tells us to cast our cares upon him.
Yes. I shouldn't have been anxious about anything.
I shouldn't have been caring about some of that stuff. I should have been going to God saying, Lord, I feel this way. Help me not to feel this way about him, or give me an answer. What am I supposed to do?
How many years did you suffer in silence?
Probably 16.
16 years?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
16 years.
It was a long time. I'm very loyal. So I'm gonna make something work. And then too, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't me, because I know I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. And I think I just wanted to make sure that I was not the problem. And so you just kind of sit and wait, or sit and make sure you're doing everything you should do. But the main thing I think I did not do was address the situations properly. Yeah.
And a lot of us, that's how we were taught. Yeah. You wife, you might have to put
your foot down.
You put your foot down, but you might have to put up with a little bit, Yeah. And that little bit they don't prepare you for.
Mm-hmm.
That little bit turns out to be a whole lot sometimes.
Right.
And we don't know how to handle it.
And I'm always careful when I talk to women about my story, because you don't want to put up with foolishness, because it's so dangerous out there now.
Yeah.
You know, you actually put your life in stake in a lot of relationships, especially if the partner is not being faithful. So I got so many stories. Let me tell you, God will, if you submit yourself to God, He will take care of you. I'll tell you one story, and this was before I had cancer or was diagnosed. I was sleeping in my bed one night, just totally asleep. The Holy Spirit woke me up out of my sleep. It was about 11 o'clock. Said, get up. I want you to go somewhere. So I got up. My kids was there. I had a teenager son at that time. I told him I'll be right back. It was about 11. So I get up. I don't know why I'm sharing this story. Maybe somebody needs to hear this. So I get up. I get in my car, and I'm all I knew to do was drive 59 south. So I'm going 59 south. I was just 288. Go 288. Then I heard get off. I can't think of the name of the street. It's right after OST. You exit OST, and then that next street at the stop sign, I just said turn left. I turned left. I just kept driving till I heard turn left again. I turned left again, and I saw my truck there. My husband was driving my truck. So I see my truck in a driveway. Ask me how I knew to get there. God was showing me what was going on. And I'm saying all of that to say that God will take care of you if you allow Him to. So He's showing me some things. And of course, I get out, knock on the door. Long story short, we find out that He's there. He leaves. And that was the whole kind of getting rid of the whole demise of, the relationship, because God is showing you in your face. So I think there's a lot of time as women, we are shown in our face what's not for you, and we want it so bad. We want to make it work that we stay and cause ourselves to have heartache and trouble that we're not supposed, that we shouldn't. So I'm saying that for women that will submit yourself to God, ask Him to lead you, ask Him to guide you, and He will. Stuff will just start coming your way. You're not even looking, because I never was one to look. Never. I'm too proud for that. I'm not going to go through your phone. I'm not going to go through nothing. So, but God will show you things. So, because He's your Father, and He wants you what's best for you. So that was just one of the things I wanted to share, that we don't have to be afraid. God will take care of us if we allow Him to.
Yeah. The key word is allow.
Allow Him to, yeah.
And also
submit yourself.
I always say, be prepared for what God reveals to you.
Yeah.
It's not going to always look the way you think it should look.
Yeah. Yeah. And He'll prepare your heart.
Yeah. It says forgiveness. In your book, you wrote, forgiveness releases the power to love and accept what we cannot change, including people. Once you internalize that,
right?
Because sometimes when we're in these relationships, we think, oh, if I keep doing this, maybe this person will change, or if I stay here and do this person gonna change. No, that person got to change because he or she wants to change.
Yeah. And
that's kids and all. I'm gonna take care of it, and he gonna do this or she gonna do. No,
that's not your job.
No,
that's the Holy Spirit's job. To convict people to change. It is not your job.
Yes.
So you don't want to take on somebody else's job, do you? You ain't getting paid for it.
Oh, you gonna get paid. It ain't gonna be in the way that you want. You look in the mirror one day and say, where did I go? Because I have been there. You look in the mirror and like, where is Nikki?
Yeah.
Nikki has left the whole house.
That's so true, Nikki.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. So let's move on to the next season of your life that was kind of dark, the death of your son.
Okay, before I go there, I want to let everybody know that because we were talking about submitting your ways unto God and just allowing God to lead. I was able to get into MD Anderson miraculously.
Oh, God.
Because my husband had just started a new job. And when I decided I was going to go to MD Anderson, I just sent the application in. They picked it up right away. I got into MD Anderson in less than 2 weeks. And if anybody knows anything about trying to get into MD Anderson fast, some people I met when I started going, I'd meet people. Some people it took them a year to get into a doctor.
Just to get treated?
Just to get into the program.
Wow.
Some people had to wait 6 months and then travel from over here. But when I got in the intake department, and the nurse told me, she said, you know what, you are so lucky, because if it had been 3 days, I think she said earlier, you would not have qualified, because your condition would have been considered a pre-existing condition. So God allowed me to find that cancer right at the right time to be able to get in to get treatment. So when I saw that God was working with me that way, there was nothing. I was so confident that this thing was going to be just easy. And if I tell you, when I picked the cancer treatment because they ask you what you want to do, like you a doctor. I don't know about
they tell you all this stuff. And you're like, huh?
Which one you want to do? So I gave them all. I took all the paperwork, put it down on my kitchen table, and went to bed. Woke up that morning, picked one of the sheets up, wrote on the back. I asked God very humbly, Lord, I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to lose any weight, and I don't want to miss any work. And I'm picking this treatment. And if I tell you, I didn't lose any hair. Nobody even knew I was going through chemotherapy. I didn't lose any weight, and I didn't miss any work. God honored all of that, all of my requests, just because I'm trusting him. And he knows I'm looking to him to take care of me. And I was healed in 3 months. They run your tests after every treatment. I don't know if they did that with your type of thing. They run your test after every treatment. So I had treatments every month. And by the 3rd month, there was no trace of the stage 4 cancer.
By how many months?
3.
Okay.
Half the treatment. So I was telling the doctors, I don't have to do any more chemo. And they said no, because it might be a little bitty spot. But I knew I was healed. I knew that God had healed me in those 3 months, because I forgave and because I was allowing him to lead me. So I want everybody to understand, just trust God. Don't try to make things work for yourself. All he wants to do is be involved in your life.
Also, I'm going to back up too before we get to your son. I feel like a lot of us, we're in a season of preparation. And you said God prepared you for the things that you were about to endure. Can you talk a little bit about that?
For the cancer, that July, or was that August, I went to a conference at my church, and my pastor had just had cancer. And so he overcame, had a miraculous testimony, shared his testimony with us, gave us scriptures, prayer confessions, just really talked to us about healing. And so at that time, I had never been sick before, but I went to the conference anyway, bought the book, got the scriptures, wrote it down, and just every day just started reading over my notes, not knowing that because I got diagnosed in August, the very next month I was going to need those same scriptures, those same notes.
Wow.
And so God already knew what I was going to go through. So he already knew, and he prepared me for it. Those scriptures were in me by that time. And so I'm sure that was what kind of helped push along my speedy healing of just the 3 months, because I was in the word every day. God, you said, this is your word, that by your stripes I'm healed, I'm whole. So I just really believed, and God prepared me for that. Same thing with my son. If you're getting ready to go to that section of that season of my life.
I wrote preparation. God's preparation is the importance of following instructions.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of following instructions, because some of us, we cannot follow instructions. And you'll be like me, Lord, it's your disobedient child again. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it your way this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The importance of following instructions.
You know what I found, Nikki, what helps me, because I'm like that too. I want to do it my way. Mm-hmm. And that's what got me in so much trouble.
Yes.
So much trouble. I can't even begin to tell you. And just here in the last 4 years, I'm better. And I'll tell you why. Because I've learned that God loves me and he already has a plan for me. I don't know the full plan, but because he does, I might want to just do what he tells me to do. Like your coach, a football coach. He is looking out here while you on the field. And he knows your opponents. He knows your ability. He knows your speed. So you need to let him tell you which way to run, where to look, who's going to throw you the ball, so you can make the touchdown. And when I finally understood that, things have been better for me. But baby, I was a tough cookie, I'm telling you. I was and then that's all pride. You know that's pride, right?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently said at church that it was only when God tells me to do things and I do it. And sometimes you're not going to understand.
Yeah.
Like, God, I don't know what's going on, but I trust you. So I'm just going to go have that crazy type of faith and just keep moving.
Keep it moving.
Follow those instructions.
Yeah. It's so important.
Yes.
It's so important. And then, like, I don't want my grandchildren to go through this. Exactly. I want them to have better. And so a lot of this is just breaking curses of disobedience and pride and things like that. So if they can see me walk through some things and I talk to them about it, hopefully they'll do as I say and not try to do what I did and get the bad results and figure it out on their own. So
it's hard when you see things manifesting in your children.
Yeah.
That you possibly went through, because I'm going through that right now,
Yeah.
And I can't do nothing but give that child to God. I can't do anything. And that kills you as a parent. So I'm hoping with each episode that we destroy these behaviors.
Yeah.
Make a change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But God can tell you how to pray, and you can pray because you was just like that. Like, I know what I dealt with and that I see in my son. And so I can pray because I know how I felt when that was happening to me. So, just like I said, just wanting everything my way. And I see that in my kids. And I pray, God, let them have an encounter with you that they'll want you instead of their own way. Just stuff like that.
Yes. And it will make a big difference.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so I wrote revelation moment. Sometimes unannounced, the thief will come into doors that we have left open for him. Mm-hmm. There were doors left open that prayer could have closed. Mm-hmm. That was a quote out your book. You want to explain that?
That was even with the cancer. I knew how I felt. I knew that I could have been praying about my marriage. I didn't pray about my marriage. I never prayed that God would give me directions to help my marriage. I never prayed that. And I believe if I don't know if you, The War Room, that movie where the old lady coaches the girl and her husband. So she teaches her how to pray for her husband. He was getting ready to cheat, and they started praying together, and she had her get a prayer room together and gave her certain scriptures to pray and taught her how to pray for her husband. And right when he got ready to go cheat, he couldn't.
Oh, I got to go look that up.
Oh, it was real popular. It's called The War Room. It's an older lady that mentored this young lady that her husband, she didn't even know that he was about to go cheat, but she knew something was wrong in her marriage. And the lady was teaching her how to pray and ask God to help their marriage, to heal their marriage, to restore the covenant. And that it was so funny. He didn't know what was wrong.
Couldn't do it.
Right, right. So that's what I'm saying. Prayer invites God into the situation. When you don't pray, God's hands are tied. We want to think that God is just going to come in and rescue us, but God is a spirit and he has to be invited into our lives. He's not going to bum rush us. He has to be invited in. So that's what I was referring to when I gave that quote that God had given, that revelation God gave me. So I invite God I invite him into my day every day.
Yes.
Yes.
Too. You have to.
Help me. Yeah.
Yeah. My coworkers may laugh. I'll be like, help me, Lord. There's somebody that got on my nerve. You're going to hear me saying, help me, Lord.
They'll figure it out later. They'll need the same thing sooner or later.
Oh, the next quote I wrote down, it says, through every challenge, you learned something or gain knowledge.
That's absolutely true. And I learned that, through everything. Um, I found out that there's nothing that we go through that God doesn't know about. And he hasn't already said, okay, she can handle that. When with the cancer, God knew that I was strong enough to handle that and come up out of it. My cousins or my sisters, they may not have been strong enough. So God is not going to be allow anything to come on you that you cannot handle. So that gives me confidence that, oh, this is just a little test. I'm going to be stronger because that's what the word says. And if I tell you I'm stronger, stronger, stronger because of a lot of tests that I've gone through. Have they been easy? No, they haven't been easy, but they've made me stronger. I'm not a little timid, quiet person that I used to be.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna come out stronger on the other side. And I like to say I'm trying to get people to the other side.
Yeah.
And it takes time to get to the other side. It's not easy, but you can get there. Now let's go back to your son. Can you tell us what happened with your son?
My son was 23 when he was killed. He was I back up, like we said, God always prepares me. I had a dream exactly 30 days prior to him being killed. I dreamed that he had been taken to a warehouse with some of his friends and they beat him up really bad. And I came and found him at the warehouse and I picked him up and I was helping him to the car and took him home. So I didn't know what that dream meant. I called him and I said, hey, I don't know what this dream means, but be careful. And I thought it maybe was somebody he was dating. And, maybe she was dating another guy and the guy's been, I didn't know what it could be. Now I know how to pray and get God involved in my dreams and kind of show me and pray about it. But I didn't back then. So when I say I learned from everything, I learned from that. But I told him about it and he called me back twice. He said, what was the dream again? Because he was trying to figure it out too. But lo and behold, him and some friends had got into some stuff and when they were getting into it with another group of guys, the friends ran and left him there. And he was the one that got shot.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And so he has 2 daughters. He left 2, a 1 and a 2-year-old.
Okay.
So that was hard for me because I saw it coming. I knew something was coming. And I just didn't know how to pray about it. And I blamed myself for a long time because I say God showed me and I just didn't know how to. Because if God shows you something in a dream, you have to pray about it. Well, you would think, well, God should stop it, right? And I did. I thought that for a long time, but that's just not the way the spirit realm works. But I learned that in all things we have to pray. And then also, like I said, God prepared me. He prepared me for the time. God is just so amazing now that I'm bringing all these memories up. That happened in August. In February, one of my good friends asked me to pray for her sister. Her sister's son had just committed suicide. And this before, I knew, I had ever experienced anything about death, with a child. And I said, her name was Sheila Whiting. And I said, Mr. Sheila, you sure you want me to pray? I don't know what to pray. I've never experienced that. I don't even have a scripture on it, nothing. She said, well, God told me to have you pray for her and call her and talk to her. So I spent I didn't call her right away. I prayed and I spent the next 2 weeks gathering scriptures about death, about encouragement, about a mother being encouraged with the loss of her son, praying for 2 weeks. And I called her sister. She didn't answer the phone. And I wouldn't either. It's a total stranger, calling you. So I called my friend back, Sheila back, and I said, Mr. Sheila, she didn't answer. But I'll try her again one more time, maybe in a couple of days. So I tried her again in a couple of days. She didn't answer. So I told her, she said, okay, well, maybe she just doesn't want, to talk. So lo and behold, again, all of that encouragement, all of that comfort I needed just 7 months later when I had to go through that with my son. So, yeah, so God is just, He prepares us for the things to come if we just submit ourselves to him. I mean, that's nothing that I wanted to come, but if looking back at it, if I had to go through it, I'm glad I was prepared spiritually to be strong.
Yeah, that's the only way that's where you get your strength from.
Yeah. Because it was really hard because in my book I talk about my dad passed in 2008, my grandmother in 2009, and then my son in 2010. So it was just back to back to back to back to back. And right before that, it was the cancer. So it was just a total tsunami of just getting stronger.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you grew through it all.
Yeah. To God be the glory, I'm telling you.
You called it a 7-year wilderness experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Experience.
A 7-year wilderness. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it was. And the thing about it, I'm sure the Israelites didn't know they was in the wilderness. They just living life.
Yep, in the dark season. Don't even know it.
You don't even know it.
You don't even know.
Just living.
Yeah.
Until you come out of it and be like, "Ooh, man, that was kind of hard." God is faithful. Right after that, that's when I saw Felicia's section. She's in my book. The next season, God introduced me to health and fitness. Mm-hmm. And so that became my stress reliever. Mm-hmm. Started working out with her, just working out, about 5, sometimes 6 days a week. It became like an addiction for me. Mm-hmm. And I met her. She was doing the bodybuilding shows. Mm-hmm. So talked us all into doing one. Same thing with you.
Yes.
Same thing with you. So it helped me be stronger, not only physically. When you feel physically fit, stronger, it does something to you mentally as well.
It really does.
So it really helped pull me up out of that season that I just come through. Mm-hmm. So God put her right in my life at the right time to pull me up physically to be strong so that my mental discipline kick in. And so now I can be very disciplined. If you can be disciplined with food, you can be disciplined with everything. Yeah. Because food will make or break you, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that is true. Mm-hmm. That is so true. You wrote also that, I'm just going over little quotes that I read I found interesting. So this one says, people who may have wronged you hurt. The state that they are in is only temporary, and most of the time their behavior stems from much more than what we can visually see. And I like to tell people sometimes you have to look at people through a spiritual lens. Yeah. And not the natural.
That's good, Nikki. That's good.
It wasn't until I started to look at people through a spiritual lens that I didn't take everything so personally.
That's good. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Some people don't even know that they how they look with what they're doing. It's just they've been like that for so long, they don't even know that it's off. How you talking to me is off. How you treating me is crazy. And so you just have to look past. You don't know what kind of childhood they had a lot of times, the relationships they came from. What kind of relationship was that? Was that okay with her that you did that? Was not okay with me? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
So, you have to look past all of that and really, really just get to know people. Just sit back and be discerning about everything.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to pray over people and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you can see, once you look at people through spiritual lens, you can see things. Mm-hmm. Your discernment is going to kick in. Like, okay, she doing this because of this, not. Yeah. It's not what it looks like.
Yeah, that person has low self-esteem, or that person is always
attention seeking.
Yeah, that a person has always needed attention, and if I'm not giving them attention, that's when they do this to me. Yeah.
All right. One other thing that I solely agree with: change is not easy but necessary.
Yes.
I think I spoke about that at the beginning of this podcast. Yeah. Change is not easy, but it's necessary.
Especially the older you get.
Yes. Yes, you get set in your ways.
I've had to do that. I've had to do that because, like I said, I'm not perfect, and I would dare. Me and my ex, we're friends, are cordial now. So we sit back and laugh about some stuff, and I have to look at my ways. They were not good ways. They just I needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ever want to get married again, there's some stuff that I used to do that I cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to change, and I've had to face and look at myself for who I really am. And if somebody, it's so funny because me and my boys, two boys, and as I was single mom, I would have, we would about every 3 months we'd have what I call a family meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I let them, we go somewhere and eat, and I let them say whatever they wanted to say about me, about the house, whatever they think, and I could not respond. And me, I want to say something every time you say something off. But that's the reason we did it in a restaurant, so that nobody could be loud or do any kind of outbursts or anything. But they would go in, you two this, you too strict, you two the main thing they will always say is, I'm just not relaxed enough, not fun. And kids want to have fun.
Yeah.
Every little thing is not a big deal.
Yes.
And so I had to really change that. And, let your kids see you mess up. Kids don't need to think that you never mess up. You got to say, oh, I missed that one. Y'all are right, And you don't want to say that to a kid. So a lot of things I've had to change. And if my mom did it like that way, doesn't mean that I have to do it like that.
Exactly. That's called making a big change.
That's a big change.
Yes.
Because then it becomes, well, this is how I grew up. This is me. But it's not you.
Exactly.
It's not you. That was your mom. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said, oh, I'm becoming my mom?
Yeah, I sound just like my mama. Oh, let me change
Yeah,
that.
I had to change that. No, I don't. I want to be Kay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be Keiko, not Helen. So I had to change. So, yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, that's true. Change is not easy,
It's
but
not
it's
easy.
necessary.
It is necessary if you want to grow. Unless you just want to be the same Nikki you was in 2019.
Oh no, stressed out, a hot mess. No, ma'am, I'm good right where I am.
Nikki, you have done a 360. I'm telling you, you are unrecognizable.
This is the work of God. Trust me,
unrecognizable.
all up and down the work of God. People tell me that all the time. I didn't realize how bogged down I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was just living,
Yeah.
Existing, not living.
Existing. Yep. I've been there.
Let me go back to the kids. As I got healed, I realized, I'll say 95% of my life, I was living in brokenness. So I decided to go and apologize to each one of my children, and I spoke my piece. And, they all accepted the apology. So that's something you have to think about. Yeah. We were raised a certain way, but now we know most of those ways don't work.
That's right.
I'm not saying not all of them. Some of them don't work. So when you see that error, it's okay to go back and apologize to your child.
Right. That's right.
I just think that's important.
Yeah.
And even my one daughter, even though right now she struggles with mental illness, she had a moment of clarity to say, Mama, it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
These are the choices that I made.
Yeah.
But I still hold that guilt because I just felt like maybe I should have did this, or maybe I should have done that, or I could have. But I know biblically I can't do that. I just have to give it to God.
Right.
But I appreciated that in that moment.
Yes. That was the right thing to do when you apologized.
Yeah.
The right thing to do. And it promotes healing. It promotes even healing for them. Where they may have been angry about some of the things that you've done. And so I appreciated God asking me to even start being transparent, with my sons.
Yeah, that's true. Transparency, yes, that's important too. Okay, pain birthed my purpose.
Yeah. When I turned 50, on my birthday, I took a weekend to Dallas, and it was a boot, but it was like a spiritual boot camp. I went to this conference, And I just spent the entire weekend just, I don't know, I felt like I'm halfway to 100.
Girl.
So I know that God has a purpose for everybody. So I wanted to know my purpose. And so God took me and showed me everything that I had gone through, because I had gone through the cancer, gone through the deaths of my children, the divorce, and 2 divorces. And so he took that and he showed me, he said, now I want to take you. That was the old you. That was you going by how you was raised, by all of the hurt and pain that you may have experienced as a child. But now I want to take you to who I called you to be. It's a beautiful picture. And he called it original you. I want to take you to the original Keiko. And he mentioned to me that my name was not by mistake. My dad named me. And it's a Japanese name, and it means I can do it. Wow. And so he said, I've designed you to be a strong deliverer, a strong person that's going to lead. And the way that you were raised as the baby of the family, you wasn't leading nothing, because nobody was going to let you lead. Nobody was going to let you do anything. But I've called you to do these things. And so from there, that's when I started doing the physical fitness shows, where I became stronger and began to be more vocal, wrote the book, began to teach ministry lessons. First, he started me with ITT, where I taught school, and I taught at Eisenhower High School. So God had me getting up in front of people, because I had never done that before. So he's training me all along to start getting up in front of people. And so that's where I am today. I'm teaching. I teach ministry lessons. I do teachings online, and I'm looking to start traveling, doing some teaching this year for 2026. So he's actually called me to be who he originally designed me to be. And I talk about that all the time, because we were created not how we look. Some of us, how we look today. How you look today is who God called you to be 30, 40 years ago.
Jesus, I believe that. Because, you know, for me, I started out, and I hate to say this, I started out selling like lingerie and toys. And one day, Fee said, Nikki, you're not doing that no more. I said, that ain't what God want me to do. So I gave it to her. She put it in the ship.
I remember that.
You remember?
I remember.
I gave it. I said, girl, God don't want me to do that. He want me to do something else. So at the time, he was working with me, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, because just like you, I'm quiet. I don't talk much. I'm shy. I'm scared that I might, misspeak or something like that. So God said, no, I need you to speak. I need you to get the word out.
There you go.
Don't worry about how it sounds. Let me handle that. That's Whoever needs to hear it will get it. They will hear it. But I need you to get the word out. And it wouldn't let you sleep.
That's so good, Nikki.
He won't let you sleep. He
That's right.
wouldn't let you rest. Somebody said, how did you start? I said, God pushed me out the bed. He said, get up.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yes.
And one of the scriptures he gave me is Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will raise up a standard. And I added this part, you are the standard. So you are setting the standard for women that are broken and need to be healed. They can look at you and know who they should be. You're setting the standard. And so that's what he gave me. He said, we're coming into a generation that is broken, that doesn't know what they are supposed to look like. I didn't call them to look like this. They look a mess. I added this. They look a mess when they're supposed to be looking like this. And you are the standard to show them how I created them to look, not culture. Culture is developing a lot of the looks these days. And then, you look back at yourself and be like, man, I wore that?
Yeah.
But that was because of the culture. That wasn't who God said that I am. So
I remember one day I walked in the church and my pastor said, now you look like a lady of God.
He said that?
I said, now what was I looking like at first?
Wow.
I was like, thank you, Pastor. I'm like, what was I looking like at first?
Yeah. And he didn't harass you or anything. He just waited. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. He just blurted it out one day. I was walking through the door. And he just said that, and I thought to myself, well, what was I looking like at first? But okay, I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah, but you didn't know it.
I didn't know. So
didn't
what
know
you're
it.
saying, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. God is pulling us up to who he has called and purposed us to be. It's your purpose. And this is who you're supposed to be in for the beginning of time when your story was written in the book of life. Mm-hmm.
I can remember being in places and I just was never comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could never get comfortable.
And God was just waiting for you to ask for help.
Ooh.
And he said, well, when she get through with that relationship, she'll ask. I know how.
Yes, Lord. You don't have no choice. Who else gonna help you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can call people,
right?
but they can't help you. Not like God
Not
can.
like that. Pull you from the inside out.
Yes.
And I named my book Heal from the Inside Out because it starts on the inside first. You have to, your spirit has to, first of all, connect to God, and your soul has to be healed. Because, you know, you can go through some stuff and, you know, be done with it, even have another boyfriend or husband. But there's some stuff still on the inside that's not healed. It's still there. The brokenness, the anger. I could have went on to another relationship still, you know, with all the baggage of being angry and all of that, and just took it right on into another relationship. But I wanted to be healed inside first. And then just let it exude to be a beautiful person on the outside.
And yeah, I believe that. I never understood pain, birthing a purpose, but I get it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I had to go through it.
Yeah.
And you'll have to go through it too.
That's
Figure
right.
out your purpose.
That's right. That's right. And God, you'll see it. You'll see it.
Okay, so the last thing is the biggest fight is in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest fight. I want you to think about that. The biggest fight is in your mind.
Mm-hmm. It's not a coincidence that the Bible says in Romans 12:1 that we need to renew our mind.
Oh,
That's one of the
start my podcast
first
off like that.
thing that you
renewing of
have
the
to
mind.
do when you make Jesus Lord, in my opinion, is renew your mind, because you're stepping into a whole another kingdom.
Yes.
You're not the same. You're not. You can't do the same. You can't think the same. So you have to renew your mind.
Yes.
You know, the things, this is just very simple, but whereas you may have used to like to go eat at Burger King, is that the healthiest thing to eat now? You got to renew your mind to the healthier things for your life.
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It's true. I used to start my podcast off with renewing of the mind.
Renew your mind. Your mind will take you. I think, I don't know who used to say this, but he said, your mind, you can think yourself into a stroke.
You can stress yourself out.
You can let.
Yeah.
He said he used to, I think it was Creflo Dollar, he used to lay in the bed at night and he would literally feel his heart palpitations just on thinking. You haven't even experienced anything yet, but you have thought yourself into almost a heart attack.
I experienced that, and I'm going to share this with you guys. Like I said, this is a place to share your truths. I was married, and every night I felt like my heart was just going through my chest. I'm thinking I'm having a stroke. So I get up, I make a doctor's appointment, right? They do the EKGs, they do everything. They say, oh, you're fine. And I'm like, well, why is my heart beating like that? But once I got healed, I realized that was anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was laying next to the enemy.
Yeah.
And I was having panic attacks. And not even knowing it.
Right.
In the season of black darkness and didn't even know it.
Right.
So you can think like that. You can stress your body out to the degree of that.
Or thinking about what if this, what if that. You know, I still do. I still have to catch myself. I got some calls I need to make today, and I'm thinking, well, what if they say this, or what if they do? What if they don't? I have to tell myself that. So I still have to renew my mind and talk to myself and stop letting my mind dictate what I do. I know what I need to do. Just do it. Don't think about what if this or what if that. Well, what if the opposite of that is true?
That's true.
So we really have to take a hold of our mind and just think on good things and think on the things that we need to do and get them done. But it first starts with renewing your mind, taking them thoughts captive, and putting them where they supposed to be.
Yes, your mind, as they say, is a terrible thing to waste. Remember
Yeah,
that whole thing?
Right, you can be thinking on some new ideas for your show and new ideas for that, and you sitting up thinking about something crazy.
Yes. And sometimes I have to redirect my thought process and start to do things, to redirect my mind. Because sometimes, we human.
Right.
My human side will do that.
Right.
But now I know how to control it better.
Right. That's good. That's good stuff.
All right. So with this podcast, I want to end with ways or a process of forgiveness. If you don't know how to forgive, I'm going to give you some ways to start.
Okay.
First is repentance. Assume responsibility for your unforgiving spirit. You talked about that accountability in your book.
Yeah.
Asking God to forgive you for that unforgiving spirit, and also forgive the person who hurt you.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that forgiveness is really not about that person. It's for you. As we just described, when you don't forgive, you can see what it does, or you'll feel what it does to your body. So I want you to think about that again and know that it's not all about that person. It's really for you.
That's right.
The next step is to release. Let go of anything you think that person owe you. Any expectation, you just let that go. Because a lot of us say, well, I need closure. You may never get that closure from that person. That person probably is nowhere near where you want them to be. And if you don't let it go, you're going to hold on to those same feelings because you're feeling like something is owed to you. You got to let that go. Just let it go. The next step is recognition. Acknowledge the wrongdoing towards you was hurtful, but remember that behavior grieved God. When I say grieve God, that is the Holy Spirit cares deeply for us. So when people act in ways that are destructive to themselves and others, it also and destructive to the relationship with him. In other words, God loves us. He cares about us. He doesn't want us to hurt. So I want you to think about that. So when you hurt, he hurt too. Now this next thing, and once you do that, I want you to remember that you can trust that God will vindicate you. You will get the victory. So I'm talking to people that was where I used to be. Don't go over there messing with that man's car. I just saw on the news where some woman was trying to burn her husband or boyfriend clothes up and burn down the whole apartment complex.
Wow.
When you got your faith in God, you don't have to do none of that. Just keep your faith in God and know that you will be vindicated. God got your back. The next is remember how often God has forgiven you.
That's the key.
Yes, remember that.
That's the key. That there's a scripture that says that the reason why you need to forgive is because he forgave you. And he can't keep forgiving you and you're not doing the same thing, forgiving other people.
That's true.
Wow.
Oh, one last thing before we go. I forgot. When you talked about the sins, and you said most of the sins that the spiritual sins. Can you talk a little bit about that before we go?
Spiritual sins are those that you can't see. Yes. It's from your heart. Because if you look at the word heart in scripture, God judges your heart because everybody can look holier than thou. But God looks right through you and look at your heart, because your heart is the first thing he uses to bring you to him. You confess with your heart, you confess with your mouth and believe with your heart. And so when your heart is angry, evil, or bitter, those are that's like the root of sin, or the little seed, because sometimes anger will produce a sin of murder, like with Cain. So it's the thing that starts that big thing that's going to be a behavioral sin.
Yes.
So we call it a spiritual sin because it's the little seed that if you don't take care of it right away, it will produce the outward sin. So if you are bitter and jealous, then you might go and do something to your ex-boyfriend's girlfriend that's going to get you in trouble. That's going to be a bigger sin. So the spiritual sins are those sins that people can't see, those things that you hold in your heart, that you covet and you hold on to, that will turn into something bigger, that will turn into something that's going to cause you to be have a bigger sin.
And I beg you right now, if that is you and you holding on to all that jealousy, bitterness, and anger, let it go. Yeah. Just as she said, you'll move on to doing something that you will regret. And you probably can't take it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like Cain, the biggest story with that is Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
You know, he had to be jealous of his brother a long time to just all of a sudden kill him because he had a better gift for God than he did. You know, he had to already be holding that in his heart. Matter of fact, God told him that. He said, Cain, be careful because sin is crouching at your doorstep. That means it was waiting to open the door to something bigger. And so that's why we have to cut this stuff off right at the root of it and say, hey, ooh, I'm feeling a little jealous because I do. You know what I found, Nikki? Sometimes, and I'm just say for me, you don't even want what that other person has. You just don't want them to have it. Ooh, you know, so you're like, if you're thinking about your ex, and him moving on to another woman, you don't want him. You just don't want her to have him. What is that? We need to stop that.
See, we got to work. I got to work on that myself too.
We have to stop that because that is major with God. For you to covet and be jealous of something that you don't even want, but you just don't want that person to have it. You have to confront yourself and say, what is wrong with me? God, help me. When you say that, that's the moment that God will come in and he will help you. He'll show you some stuff that that runs deep. I mean, I had to go through that. It runs deep all the way back to childhood of being overlooked or not being picked first on the volleyball team.
Yes.
It runs deep. So you have to go back. That's why I always like to look at the root of things, because when you go back and you pluck that stuff up, just like weeds in your garden, it ain't coming back. So you have to go deep, pluck those things up and get rid of them, else you're going to be dealing with that till you're 90.
That is true.
I know some old women, 70 years old, still fighting over crazy stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I see it all the time. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. So we gotta we have to deal with that. With forgiveness, especially.
With that being said, that is gonna end this podcast. I hope that this information will help you, or if you know somebody that it will help, pass it on to them. Hit your follow button, your like button, subscribe button. I'm not sure where you're seeing me at or hearing me, but please just hit that button and pass the information on. That is the biggest support for me. Now, you want to tell them once again how they could get your book?
Okay. I actually have that book to give away. Okay. So, Nikki, I'm going to say the first DM you get maybe on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah, I'm big on
the
TikTok.
First DM you get on TikTok that says, I want it, then I'll send that book to them. I'll mail that book to them. So it has to be the first one starting right now.
All right. You heard that. The first one, reach out to me on TikTok and say, I want it. We'll get this autographed book.
And then Nikki will get that information to me and I'll mail the book out to you as a gift from me. My books are also available at kaykojohnson.com. Kayko, K-A-Y-A-K-O Johnson.com. That should be available probably in the next 30 minutes. I think I have to upload the shipping information for it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching or either listening, and we will talk again next week.